Hello everyone, welcome back to Revenge Blaze, the channel where we share powerful real-life stories about standing up for yourself, setting healthy boundaries, reclaiming your peace, and breaking free from situations that no longer serve you. Thank you so much for joining me today. If you're new here or haven't subscribed yet, please hit that subscribe button and turn on the bell so you never miss an inspiring tale. Don't leave. Just yet, the next story is going to be incredibly moving and full of lessons we can all relate to. And without keeping you waiting any longer, here's today's story with the title, You're Not Special Until They Needed My Money. My name is Verna Hayes. I'm 71 years old, living alone in my quiet condo out in the suburbs of Austin, Texas. For years, I've been the one who kept things steady for my only daughter Taylor and her husband Isaiah, paying rent when times got tight, helping with furniture covering emergencies without a second thought. I thought that made me part of their lives. I was wrong. I remember picking up the phone to ask about the wedding date. Taylor had mentioned it was coming soon, so I wanted to know when to clear my schedule, maybe pick out something nice to wear. But it was Isaiah who answered, his voice calm and casual, like he was discussing the weather. "When's the wedding?" I asked. He paused just long enough for it to sting. "We got married a few days ago, didn't you know? We only invited special people. You didn't get an invite." The words landed like a slap. Special people. Me, the one who'd sent thousands of dollars over the last 3 years, who had kept their condo lights on and fridge full, wasn't special enough to watch my only child say her vows. I stood frozen in my kitchen phone, still pressed to my ear, while he added something about it being small, intimate, just family on his side and a couple close friends. But the damage was done. No apology, no explanation. Just that cold line, "You didn't get an invite?" 2 weeks later, the phone rang again. This time, it was Isaiah's voice, tight and urgent. "The rent's overdue, Mom. The landlord's threatening eviction. Please, we need help with the transfer." Mom. Funny how that word only comes out when money's on the line. I let the silence stretch. Then I spoke slowly, clearly. "Oh, now you're calling me Mom. I only transfer money to special people. Don't even dream about it." The line went dead quiet. I could almost hear his surprise, the shift from expectation to panic. That moment changed everything. If you've ever felt used by the people you raised, if you've ever wondered when enough is enough, stick around. This story is about what happens when a mother finally draws the line, and how far some will go when the money stops flowing. If this sounds like something you've been through or fear might happen, hit that like button right now. Drop a comment with your thoughts. What would you do in my place? And subscribe so you don't miss what comes next. These stories are for us, the ones who've given everything and still got pushed aside. Let's keep talking. After hanging up on Isaiah, I sat at my kitchen table staring at the phone like it had personally betrayed me. The silence in the condo felt heavier than usual. To understand how deep that cut went, I need to go back to how things started 3 years ago when I first opened my checkbook without really thinking twice. Taylor and Isaiah had just moved into their condo in Round Rock, right on the edge of Austin suburbs. Nice place, 2 bedrooms, open kitchen, small patio, with a view of nothing special. Rent was $1,800 a month, more than they could swing on their combined part-time jobs. Taylor was doing admin work from home a few days a week, Isaiah selling car parts online when he felt like it. They called one afternoon saying the landlord wanted first and last month's rent plus deposit up front. I wired the money that same day. "Just until we get on our feet, Mom," Taylor said sweetly. I believed her. Month after month, the transfers continued, $1,800 every first of the month, automatic like clockwork. I told myself it was temporary. Then came the furniture. Their old couch from college days fell apart, so I bought them a new sectional $3,000 on sale at the furniture outlet off I-35. "You shouldn't have, but thank you," Taylor texted with heart emojis. Isaiah added a thumbs up. I smiled at my phone like an idiot. Winter came and the AC unit died. Texas heat doesn't wait for apologies. Repair bill was $650. I paid it. Then the car, Isaiah's old pickup, needed new tires and brakes. Another $1,200. Christmas that year, I sent an extra $500 so they could do something nice. Birthdays, anniversaries, random emergencies, a root canal for Taylor, a laptop for Isaiah's business. It added up fast. Over 3 years, I tallied it once on a yellow legal pad. Rent alone was $64,800. Furniture repairs, gifts, cash here and there, easily another $10,000 to $12,000. Close to $80,000 total. Money my late husband James left so I could live comfortably in retirement. Money I never missed because I thought I was investing in family. I never asked for receipts. Never questioned why two grown adults in their 30s couldn't cover basics. I was the safety net, the reliable one, the one who never said no. Looking back now, I see how ridiculous it sounds. I was basically running a private charity for people who called me mom only on the first of the month. Then came the wedding photos. A couple days after Isaiah's call, I was scrolling Facebook absent-mindedly, something I rarely do anymore, when a mutual friend from Taylor's high school days posted an album. The caption read, "So happy for these two beautiful intimate ceremony last weekend." I clicked. There they were. Taylor in a simple white dress smiling wide, Isaiah in a gray suit, arm around her. Photos of them cutting cake, toasting with champagne. His parents beaming in the background, his sister raising a glass. A small group, maybe 15 people, laughing on what looked like a backyard overlooking a hill country view. No strangers, just special people. Not one photo included me. I scrolled slower, heart pounding. There was Taylor hugging her new mother-in-law. Isaiah kissing her forehead while everyone cheered. The ring I had helped pay for $800 toward it when Taylor said they were short, glinting on her finger. The dress alterations I covered because it's once in a lifetime. All of it captured perfectly, without me. I sat there in the dim light of my living room, the glow from the screen lighting up my face. No tears at first. Just this cold, sharp realization. For 3 years, I had been their invisible sponsor. The person who made their life possible but not important enough to stand in a single wedding photo. I closed the app. My hands were steady, but inside something cracked wide open. I wasn't angry, yet not the yelling kind. It was quieter, deeper. The kind of anger that arrives when you finally see the truth you've been ignoring. They had celebrated the biggest day of their lives, surrounded by people who mattered to them. And I wasn't one of them. I set the phone down and looked around my condo, the same one I'd lived in since James passed. The walls were quiet. The fridge hummed. For the first time in years, I didn't reach for my checkbook to fix something. I just sat with the truth. And it hurt like hell. The next 2 weeks passed in a strange kind of quiet. I went about my routine grocery runs to H-E-B, morning walks around the condo complex, coffee on the patio, but everything felt different, sharper, like I'd finally woken up from a long nap. Then the phone rang on a Thursday afternoon. I saw Isaiah's name on the screen. I almost let it go to voicemail, but something made me pick up. "Verna." He started, no mom this time, just my name, like we were strangers settling a bill. "The rent's overdue, 2 months now. Landlord left a notice on the door. If we don't pay by Friday, we're out." I stayed silent for a beat. He kept talking fast, like he was reading from a script. We tried to cover it, but things got tight. Taylor's hours got cut, and my sales dried up last month. "We just need the transfer $1,800 for this month, plus the back amount. You know how it is." I let him finish. Then I spoke. "Isaiah didn't. I make myself clear last time." He paused. "What do you mean? I only transfer money to special people." I said it slowly, letting each word land. "And from where I'm sitting, that list doesn't include you anymore." The line crackled with silence. Then he laughed short. Nervous, not amused. Come on, Verna. This isn't funny. We're family. You can't just. Family, I cut in. Funny how that word only shows up when the rent's due. He switched tactics quick. Look, Taylor's upset. She's been crying all day. We didn't mean to hurt you with the wedding thing. It was small, we were stressed. Please, just this once. We'll pay you back. I almost believed the regret in his voice. Almost. But I'd heard variations of it too many times right before another emergency popped up. No, I said. Not this time. Not ever again. He exploded. You can't do this. We've got bills piling up. The car payment's late too. You co-signed, remember? If we lose the place, where are we supposed to go? I hung up. Within minutes, the texts started. First from Isaiah. Please reconsider. We're in real trouble here. Then Taylor. Mom, why are you doing this? We need you. Another from Isaiah. This is cruel. After everything we've been through. Taylor again. I can't believe you're punishing us over one mistake. They alternated like a tag team. Call from Taylor straight to voicemail. Text from Isaiah with a photo of the eviction notice taped to their door. Call from Taylor again, this time leaving a message. Mom, pick up. We're scared. Please don't let us end up on the street because you're mad. I listened to the voicemail twice. Her voice shook, but it sounded practiced, like she'd rehearsed the tremor. By evening, the calls came every half hour. Isaiah left 3 in a row, one angry, "You're being selfish," one pleading, "We love you, we just need help," one threatening, "If we get evicted, it's on you." Taylor sent a long paragraph. I thought you were better than this. After all the years I tried to include you. Now you're turning your back when we need you most. I turned my phone to silent and set it face down on the counter. The notifications kept buzzing like angry bees. That night, I lay in bed listening to the ceiling fan spin. Part of me wanted to cave just one more transfer to make the noise stop. But another part, the one that had been quiet for years, whispered, "If you send the money now, it'll never end. They'll always need just this once." The buzzing continued into the next day. By lunchtime, I'd counted 17 missed calls and 23 texts. Some were apologies, some were guilt trips. One from Taylor read, "I guess I'm not special enough anymore either." I stared at that one for a long minute. Then I blocked both numbers. The quiet returned, but it wasn't peaceful. It was the silence before something bigger started moving. A few days after the calls stopped, I heard knocking at my door, sharp, insistent, the kind that says, "They're not leaving until you open up." I checked the peephole. Taylor and Isaiah stood there dressed nicer than usual. Behind them was a man in a dark suit, briefcase in hand, looking like he'd rather be anywhere else. I opened the door just enough to speak. Taylor stepped forward, first eyes wide and pleading. "Mom, we need to talk. This has gone on long enough." Isaiah nodded beside her. "We're worried about you. You've been acting different. Cutting us off like this isn't you." The man in the suit cleared his throat. "Mrs. Hayes, I'm attorney Harlan Voss. Your daughter and son-in-law asked me to come. They're concerned about your recent decisions financially, I mean. We just want to discuss options for help managing your affairs." I kept my hand on the door. "Managing my affairs?" He smiled the way lawyers do when they're trying to sound helpful. "Yes. With the changes you've made, stopping support, blocking contact, it's raised some red flags. We can set up a simple arrangement. Nothing permanent. Just someone to oversee things so you don't make choices you might regret later." Isaiah jumped in. "Mom, we love you. We don't want you to be alone with everything. Let us help." Taylor reached out like she wanted to touch my arm. "Please. We've talked to people. They say this is common when someone starts isolating themselves." I looked at all 3 of them standing on my doorstep like a sales team pitching extended warranty. Part of me wanted to laugh. Here they were, the same people who couldn't manage their own rent, now offering to manage my life. "No, thank you," I said. "I'm perfectly capable of handling my own money and my own decisions." Harlan Voss opened his briefcase slightly, pulling out a folder. We have a document here, it's voluntary. A limited power of attorney. It would let Taylor and Isaiah step in if needed. Just a safeguard. Isaiah leaned in. We co-signed on the car, remember? If things go south for us, it could affect your credit too. We're trying to protect everyone. Taylor's voice cracked a little. Mom, you're scaring us. The way you've shut down, it's not normal. We just want what's best for you. I felt the anger rise, but I kept my voice steady. What's best for me is not signing anything today. Or ever. Harlan tried one more time. Mrs. Hayes, if you're feeling overwhelmed, we can... Overwhelmed, I repeated. The only thing overwhelming me right now is 3 people showing up uninvited to my home with paperwork. Isaiah's face hardened. This is your home, but we're family. You can't just lock us out of your life. I looked straight at him. Watch me. I closed the door slowly, firmly, and turned the deadbolt. Through the wood, I heard muffled voices, Taylor whispering, I can't believe this. Isaiah muttering something about next steps. Harlan suggesting they give her time to think. I leaned against the door for a moment, breathing. My heart was pounding, but not from fear. From something else. Clarity, maybe? Or relief. I walked to my desk, pulled out the business card I'd kept from a friend who'd gone through something similar years ago. Laura Bennett, elder law attorney. I'd met her at a senior center seminar once. She had a no-nonsense reputation. I dialed her number. She answered on the second ring. Laura Bennett speaking. Ms. Bennett, this is Verna Hayes. We met at the Round Rock Senior Center a couple years back. I need help. My daughter and son-in-law just showed up with a lawyer trying to get me to sign over control of my finances. There was a brief pause, professional, not surprised. Tell me exactly what happened. I did. Every word of the conversation at the door. The folder. The safeguard talk. The veiled threats about credit and isolation. Laura listened without interrupting. When I finished, she said, This is classic pressure tactic. They can't force anything without a court order, but they're laying groundwork. First thing, change your locks today. Install cameras, if you haven't already. Second, don't speak to them without me present. Third, come to my office tomorrow morning. Bring any bank statements, transfer records, anything showing what you've given them over the years. I felt the knot in my chest loosen just a little. I will. And Verna, she added, you're not alone in this. I've seen it more times than I can count. Parents who gave everything, then got treated like a problem to be solved. I thanked her and hung up. Then I called the locksmith, the same one who'd done work for neighbors. He could come that afternoon. As I waited for him, I thought about how strange it felt to finally say no out loud, not just on the phone, face to face, door closed, bolt turned. For the first time in years, my home felt like mine again. With Laura's words still ringing in my ears, I didn't waste time. I called the locksmith again, the same guy who'd come before, and asked for the full upgrade deadbolts on every exterior door, plus a peephole camera that linked to my phone. He arrived within the hour, tools in hand, and worked quietly while I watched from the kitchen. These new ones are smart, he said, as he installed the last lock. You can see who's knocking from anywhere, and if someone tries to force it, the app alerts you right away. I nodded. Good. I need that peace of mind. By late afternoon, the condo felt fortified. Locks changed. Keys only in my possession. No spares hidden under mats or with neighbors. Next came the security cameras, small wireless ones from the hardware store down the road. The clerk recognized me from years of buying small things for Taylor's place. This time, he raised an eyebrow. Big project today, Mrs. Hayes. Protecting what's mine, I replied. He didn't ask more questions. I mounted 2 outside, one facing the walkway, one covering the parking spot, and one inside near the front door. Setup took less than an hour. The app showed live feed my quiet hallway, the palm trees swaying in the Texas breeze, the empty sidewalk. No one lurking, just me, finally in control. That evening, I drove to meet my sister Margaret Klein. She lives in San Antonio, about an hour and a half south, but she'd insisted on coming up when I called her earlier. We met at a little diner off I-35, the kind with vinyl booths and coffee that never runs out. Margaret slid into the seat across from me, her gray hair pulled back in a practical bun. "You look tired, Verna, but you also look determined." I told her everything, starting from the wedding snub, the calls, the doorstep visit with the lawyer. She listened, sipping her coffee, nodding slowly. When I finished, she set her cup down. I knew something was off when Taylor stopped calling me too. Last time we talked, she asked if I'd heard from you fishing, I think. I told her no, and she hung up quick. I laughed, a little bitter but real. "They thought you'd be the weak link. Get you to talk sense into me." Margaret leaned forward. "Listen to me. I've watched you carry everyone for too long. James would have hated seeing you treated like this. You're not their bank. You're their mother. And mothers deserve respect, not just on the first of the month." Her words hit home. We talked for hours about boundaries, about what happens when you stop being the endless giver. She shared stories from friends who'd gone through similar things. One cut off support, and her kids eventually learned to stand on their own. Another let it drag on and ended up resentful and broke. "Change the locks, keep the cameras, and don't answer," she said firmly. "Not one call, not one text. Let them feel what it's like to stand alone. If they really care, they'll find a way to reach you without asking for money. If not, well, that's their answer." I drove home feeling lighter than I had in years. Margaret followed me back to the condo, insisted on seeing the new setup. She tested the app, watched the live feed, and grinned. "Look at you, from doormat to fortress in 1 week. I'm proud of you, sis." We sat on the patio with tea, the night air warm and full of cicadas. She left around 10, hugging me tight before driving off. Alone again, I checked the cameras one last time. Empty walkway, quiet street. No shadows at the door. I opened my phone settings and confirmed the blocks. Taylor's number, Isaiah's number, even their emails routed to spam. No more notifications. No more buzzing. For the first time, the silence wasn't empty. It was mine. I went to bed that night without checking for missed calls, without wondering if they'd try again, without feeling guilty for saying no. The decision settled in like a warm blanket. I wasn't answering anymore. Not today, not tomorrow, not ever, unless it came from a place of real care, not cash. And if it never came, that would be their choice. Mine was already made. Weeks passed with no contact from Taylor or Isaiah. The condo stayed quiet, no knocks, no buzzing phones. I started to think maybe they'd finally accepted it. Then one morning, a knock came, polite, official. Through the new peephole camera, I saw a woman in business casual, clipboard in hand, standing alone. I opened the door. "Can I help you?" "Ms. Verna Hayes, I'm Ms. Rebecca Hayes from Adult Protective Services. We received a report expressing concern for your well-being. May I come in for a brief visit?" I stepped aside. "Of course, but I'd like my attorney on the line first." She nodded without surprise. "That's your right." I dialed Laura on speaker. She answered immediately. "Verna, everything okay?" "Social worker here for a well-being check," I said. "From a report." Laura's voice sharpened. "Ms. Hayes, this is attorney Laura Bennett representing Mrs. Hayes. Please state the nature of the concern and who filed it." Rebecca explained calmly. "The report claims recent changes in financial behavior, isolation from family, and possible impaired judgment. We have to follow up on any credible report." Laura cut in. "And the reporter. Family members' daughter Taylor Ramirez and son-in-law Isaiah Ramirez." I felt my jaw tighten. Rebecca glanced around the condo, clean, organized sunlight streaming in. May I ask a few questions? Go ahead, I said. She started simple. Do you manage your own finances? Yes. Bank accounts in my name only. No joint access. Recent changes. I stopped voluntary transfers to adult children who are capable of supporting themselves. Rebecca noted it down. Any medical conditions affecting cognition? None. Annual checkup last month, doctor said I'm sharp as ever. She asked about daily life groceries, bills, social contacts. I answered straight. Then she asked about family. My daughter and son-in-law haven't visited in months except to pressure me for money. They showed up uninvited with a lawyer suggesting I need oversight. Rebecca's pen paused. I see. Laura interjected. We have documentation transfer records showing over $30,000 in support over 3 years camera footage of the uninvited visit emails and voicemails demonstrating financial motivation. Rebecca looked up. May I see some of that? I pulled up the bank app on my tablet, showed recent statements, no unusual activity, all bills paid on time. Then I played a short clip from the front camera, Taylor, Isaiah, and their lawyer at the door, folder in hand. Rebecca watched quietly. This is helpful? She asked a few more questions about hobbies, friends, driving. I mentioned my walks, coffee with neighbors, weekly calls with Margaret. When she finished, she closed her notebook. Based on what I've seen and heard, I see no immediate risk. Your home is safe. You're handling your affairs independently, and you have support systems. I'll close the case as unfounded. She handed me her card. If anything changes, call me. But from what I observed today, you're doing fine. Laura thanked her on speaker. Appreciate the professional approach. Rebecca left with a polite nod. I closed the door and exhaled. Laura stayed on the line. That was their escalation. They thought a state visit would scare you into signing something. Instead, it backfired. I agreed. They pushed too far. That afternoon, I drove to meet Margaret again, this time at her place in San Antonio. She had fresh coffee waiting. When I told her about the social worker, she laughed, genuine surprised. They actually reported you, like you're the one who needs rescuing. I smiled. Apparently, Rebecca was thorough. Saw the cameras, the statements, even watched the door footage. Margaret shook her head. Smart move keeping records. I told you paper trail wins. We sat on her porch, watching hummingbirds at the feeder. She asked how I felt. Relieved, I said. And angry. They went to the state because I wouldn't pay rent anymore. That's how desperate they got. Margaret sipped her coffee. Desperate people do desperate things. But you stood your ground. That's what matters. We talked late into the afternoon about what comes next, about protecting what I have left. She reminded me of James. He always said, take care of yourself first, then others. You finally listened. I drove home as the sun set over the hill country. The condo lights were on when I arrived, warm, welcoming. No one waiting at the door. No notifications. I checked the cameras anyway. Empty walkway. Quiet street. I poured a cup of tea and sat in the living room. The silence wasn't lonely anymore. It was earned. Taylor and Isaiah had pushed to the breaking point, bringing in the state, thinking it would force my hand. Instead, it proved I didn't need them to survive. And they were running out of moves. A certified letter arrived in the mailbox 3 weeks later, thick envelope, return address from Travis County Family Court. I opened it at the kitchen counter. The heading read, Petition for Appointment of Guardian of the Person and Estate. Taylor and Isaiah had filed. They claimed I lacked capacity to manage my finances, citing sudden and irrational changes in behavior, isolation from family, and refusal to accept reasonable assistance. They asked the court to appoint a guardian, naming themselves as preferred candidates to oversee my accounts and decisions. I read the document twice. The accusations were vague but pointed no specific medical diagnosis, just concern based on their observations. Attached were affidavits, one from Taylor describing me as withdrawn and paranoid, One from Isaiah claiming I'd become unpredictable after cutting support. A third from their former lawyer Harlan Voss stating I'd rejected voluntary assistance without explanation. I called Laura immediately. She reviewed the petition over the phone. This is their last big push. They know APS closed the case, so they're going to court, but their evidence is thin, mostly emotional language, no professional evaluation. What do we do? I asked. Respond, file our answer, request a hearing. We'll counter with everything: financial records, camera footage, APS report, independent evaluation if needed, and witnesses. Margaret Neighbors, your doctor, anyone who can show you're competent. The next month blurred into preparation. Laura gathered statements. My primary care doctor wrote a letter confirming no cognitive issues. Margaret agreed to testify. The hardware store owner who installed my cameras offered to confirm I'd made rational choices. Even the bank manager from years ago sent a note about my consistent account management. The hearing was set for a Tuesday morning in a small courtroom downtown. I arrived early, dressed simply, a navy blazer I'd bought myself years ago. No jewelry. Laura met me outside. Stay calm, she said. The burden is on them to prove incapacity. We just show you're not. Inside, Taylor and Isaiah sat on one side with a new attorney, a younger man in a sharp suit. They avoided my eyes. I took my place next to Laura. Judge Whitaker, a woman in her 60s with a no-nonsense manner, called the case. Taylor's lawyer opened. Your Honor, Mrs. Hayes has exhibited concerning changes abruptly terminating long-standing family support, installing excessive security measures, refusing contact. This suggests impaired judgment. We request guardianship to protect her assets and well-being. Laura stood. Your Honor, the petitioner has provided no medical evidence of incapacity. My client is 71, fully independent, pays her bills, maintains her home, and has support from family and community. The changes cited are her lawful decision to stop funding two capable adults. The judge asked for witnesses. Taylor testified first. She spoke softly, eyes down. Mom used to be generous. Now she's distant. She blocked us, changed locks. We're scared she's not thinking clearly. Isaiah followed. She co-signed our car loan. If she loses capacity, it affects us too. We just want to help her. Laura cross-examined. Mr. Ramirez, how much financial support did Mrs. Hayes provide over 3 years? Isaiah shifted. A lot. Rent, furniture. Approximately $30,000. He nodded reluctantly. And when she stopped, what happened? We struggled, had to move to a smaller place. Laura turned to the judge. This petition appears motivated by financial loss, not genuine concern. Margaret took the stand next. I'm Verna's sister. She's always been sharp. The only change is she stopped being a wallet. Taylor and Isaiah never visited unless they needed something. The judge asked Margaret about recent interactions. We talk weekly. She's planning a small trip, something she's earned. The hardware store owner testified briefly. Mrs. Hayes came in for security upgrades. Clear-headed, paid cash, knew exactly what she wanted. Laura presented the APS report, case closed, no risk found. Then camera footage of the uninvited visit showing the folder and pressure. Taylor's lawyer tried to argue paranoia. Laura countered. Installing cameras after an uninvited visit with legal documents is prudence, not paranoia. The judge recessed for deliberation. We waited in the hallway. Taylor glanced over once, eyes red, but said nothing. Isaiah stared at the floor. Judge Whitaker returned after 40 minutes. After reviewing the evidence, the court finds no basis for guardianship. Mrs. Hayes demonstrates full capacity, independent living, financial management, social connections, and professional corroboration. The petition is denied. The petitioner's motivations appear tied to prior financial support rather than the respondent's well-being. She looked at Taylor and Isaiah. Family disputes like this are painful, but adult children cannot compel support from parents. Mrs. Hayes has the right to set boundaries. I exhaled slowly. Laura squeezed my arm. You did it. Outside the courthouse, Taylor approached. Mom. I held up a hand. Not today. Isaiah started to speak. I shook my head. We're done. They walked away, shoulders slumped. I later heard through a mutual acquaintance they'd moved to a one-bedroom apartment farther out, rent $800 cheaper. Taylor took a second job at a retail store. Isaiah picked up extra shifts. The car got sold to cover debts. No more online sales business, they couldn't afford the inventory. Back home, I sat on the patio with a cup of tea. The cameras showed an empty walkway. No shadows, no knocks. Margaret called that evening. Heard you won. Proud of you, sis. I smiled. Thanks for standing with me. She laughed. Next time we celebrate properly. No courtrooms. I agreed. For the first time in years, the future felt open, not burdened by guilt or expectation. Taylor and Isaiah had pushed everything to the limit. They'd lost the battle and the safety net. I had gained something better: control of my own life. With the courtroom behind me, I wasted no time making the next move. The condo in Round Rock had served its purpose: quiet, convenient, but it carried too many memories of waiting for calls that never came unless money was involved. I listed it with a local realtor in early fall. It sold faster than expected. A young couple with kids bought it, excited about the schools nearby. The check cleared in 6 weeks. I used part of the proceeds to buy a smaller one-bedroom apartment in central Austin, downtown, edge walking distance to coffee shops, a library, and the river trail. No yard to maintain, no HOA fees eating into savings. Just enough space for me, a few bookshelves, and a balcony overlooking the city lights. Moving day felt like shedding an old skin. The first thing I did after unpacking was plan a short trip, nothing extravagant. A week in San Antonio with Margaret. We drove down together in my car, stayed at a cozy bed and breakfast near the River Walk. No agenda, just long lunches, wandering markets, laughing over old family stories. Margaret teased me about my new city girl vibe. Look at you, balcony views and no one to mow the lawn for. I laughed. Finally living like I earned it. Back in Austin, I started small routines that felt revolutionary. Morning walks along Lady Bird Lake, stopping for coffee at a spot where the barista remembered my order. I joined a book club at the public library, mostly women my age or a bit younger, discussing novels over tea. One member, a retired teacher named Clara, invited me to a gardening group. I said yes without hesitation. I even tried painting again, something I'd given up decades ago when life got busy with raising Taylor and then supporting her. The community center offered classes on Saturdays. The instructor was patient. My first attempts looked like abstract disasters, but I kept going. One week, I painted a simple view of the river from my balcony. Clara saw it and said, "That's got soul." I framed it and hung it in the living room, the first thing I'd created just for myself in years. No more checking for messages from Taylor or Isaiah. Their numbers stayed blocked. Emails went straight to trash. Through the occasional mutual acquaintance, I heard snippets they'd downsized again to a studio farther out. Isaiah working full-time at a warehouse, Taylor picking up evening shifts at a call center. The car was gone. They relied on buses now. No more online side hustles too expensive to keep up. I felt a pang sometimes, but it wasn't guilt. It was recognition they'd chosen their path just as I'd chosen mine. One evening, on the balcony, watching the sunset turn the skyline gold, I thought about James. He'd always said, "Love doesn't come with a price tag." I'd spent years proving the opposite, buying affection with checks and transfers. Now I understood real love shows up without an invoice. If it doesn't, it's not love, it's a transaction. And I've retired from that business. The lesson is simple, but it took me 71 years to learn it. Boundaries aren't cruel. They're necessary. You don't owe your children or anyone your entire retirement, your peace, or your future. You owe yourself the dignity of deciding who gets a place in your life and who doesn't. If love comes with a bill, it's not love, it's a transaction. To anyone watching this who feels the weight of similar choices, you're not selfish for protecting what you've built. You're wise. You've earned the right to live without apology, without guilt, without being someone's safety net forever. Set the boundary. Hold it. The people who truly care will respect it, or at least try to understand. The rest, they'll show you exactly who they are. Don't wait as long as I did to learn that your own happiness matters most. Thank you so much for listening to my story all the way through. It means the world to share this with people who understand the ones who've given everything and still wondered if it was enough. Your time and attention have been a gift to me. Please take good care of yourselves. Stay healthy, stay strong, and may good fortune, good health, and many joyful moments find you every day. If this story touched you or helped you in any way, I'd be so grateful if you'd hit that like button, subscribe to the channel for more real-life stories like this, and leave a comment below with your thoughts. What would you have done? Have you faced something similar? Your comments inspire me to keep writing and make the next stories even better. And if you know someone who might need to hear this, please share the video. Let's help more people feel less alone. Until next time, take care and remember, your life is yours to live fully and freely.